Hey guys, welcome to Life Beyond Wheels podcast, where we talk about anything from being in a wheelchair to different kinds of foods and anything in between.
I was worried at first that people would call me out for not actually being handicapped or disabled or whatever the correct term is, but I was really worried someone would be like, "You're not handicapped," and they call me out on it and I get shamed in front of the middle of the mall. But no one did that, which was nice. There was very empty mall with COVID-19 and coronavirus and all that, but it was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed wheeling around. I enjoyed that. Didn't get too many looks. I don't know what you thought. I don't know if you got any looks that you were recognizing. I didn't know what to look for, but I was trying to make eye contact with people. They usually just looked away.
Yeah, I did that with a couple people the first time, and they're like, I'm not gonna look at you. They avoided you as much. Yeah, there's some people that'll do that. They'll just try to avoid.
Yeah.
Because they stare at you, but when you start looking back at them, they're like, ah!
Yeah.
You're staring at me.
Yeah, but to be fair, I stare at people just randomly, just not in a wheelchair, just random people for no reason, because I'm just off in my own world and not paying attention. And then once they look at me, I turn away immediately because it's weird.
Yep. There was one person in that clothing store we were in, the mall, the big one that we first went into, and she stared right at me, and I was like, and she went, oh, and I looked back. She just tried to stop looking at me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. I
kind of gave like a grin, like, you're looking at me.
Yeah, there was definitely not a ton of people, and everyone was very friendly. I definitely could see how it is a lot more difficult, especially going to the mall just buying things. Like, I didn't get anything to clothes or anything like that, but I specifically didn't get anything because I'm like, it's going to be such a pain to go into the changing room, get like through the wheelchair, get out of it, and change and do all these different things. And I just didn't want to deal with that hassle.
And most changing rooms in malls don't have big enough stalls for a wheelchair. I mean, there's like one or two, but people that aren't handicapped use them.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
They're not supposed to. Yeah, I mean, like in the church, like our church, how the bathroom stalls are, anyone uses those. No one really cares unless it's a handicapped person. And they're like, really, you have to use the handicapped one?
Well, for one of them, there's one regular and one handicapped one. If the other regular one's full, I know that you are the only handicapped person in the church. So I'm kind of like, you know what? I can apologize to you later if you need it right then. That's fine.
It doesn't really bother me. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was interesting. I didn't feel too different wheeling around. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it'd be a lot different if it weren't just like an experimentation, like trying on someone else's shoes. If that was my kind of reality, I think I'd be a bit more insecure about it. Just because, I don't know, I'm kind of a show-off at times, and I could probably just feel people looking at me thinking I'm, maybe, less or can't do as much. And so I'd feel just a bit shyer, and I feel a bit more insecure going around in the wheelchair. But since I was doing it as a very able person who doesn't have any disabilities or anything like that, I was just kind of enjoying myself and having a bit of a laugh. But I can see how, if it's something that I need to be in instead of something I'm just in for, fun and to see what it's like, it'd be a bit different of a story, and it'd take a while to get used to.
Yeah. What I do is, when people start asking me questions or do you need help? I'm like, no. And then, well, you're a handicapped guy. And I go well, watch this. I pop a wheelie, and I go back down. I'm like, oh, you're fine. Yeah, I'm a handicapped guy, but I don't care.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just them trying to be nice. I feel like most people just want to help, but they're probably being kind of condescending without realizing it when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, there was one time I had Sean with me. Well, the one time I did have Sean with me.
Sean's one of our friends.
Yeah, Sean is one of our friends. We're going into the game store where he wanted to play games, because it was a game play place where you could play games, board games.
Yeah.
And we were headed up there, and he couldn't get up the ramp. The ramp was like this. It was like a very slight ramp. He couldn't get the original, the initial bump to get up onto the ramp. And the guy was like, "You want to help?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, just try again." And he finally got it. And the guy was like, "You want to help?" And we're like, "He's good. He's got it."
Yeah.
There's people that are willing to help, but you kind of don't need their help, and you're like, really? I don't really need your help. I'm good.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of those are good intentions, but I think there's also this weird kind of notion that I've seen myself gravitate sometimes, where you want to just feel good about yourself. So you see someone who's handicapped, and you want to do something for them just to make yourself feel better. Usually because, I don't know, just because you see someone who's in a situation that's difficult, it's kind of natural to want to help, and I'd say sometimes those intentions aren't always pure. They're just kind of like, I want to feel better about myself. I see that a lot.
Or they're like, look at me, I'm helping a handicapped guy.
Yeah, they want the fame and all the glory from doing that. Like, oh, look at me.
Yeah, I've met with some people that are like that, and I'm like, you kind of don't understand how to actually handle people. You just kind of want to show off.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And I think a lot of people do that. Even unintentionally, they think they're doing something good, but I bet you a lot of people, like, subconsciously are thinking, oh, I'm such a good person. They're really doing it just for them. And they don't quite care, because most times it is condescending, and most times they are usually uncomfortable with you helping them, because they're like, I got this. I don't need you right now. Yep. They'll let you know if they need someone's help.
Yeah. Most handicapped people, or all handicapped people, are willing to ask for help if they need it.
Yeah. It can come from a good intention, but I really think it just is like, oh, I'm really hyped up. I want to do something good for someone else. Yeah. Not because I'm caring about this person, because you're clearly not into it. And I can see a lot of people just being completely turned off by that, because they're like, please, I'll let you know. Please get away from me.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, when you see in the gospel, like, people who have ailments or illnesses or crippled or lepers, things like that, you know, it's not something where they just kind of like come up to them and they're like they just heal them. They're like, they either like talk to them first, they start a conversation, the people usually ask, or they're just kind of like, oh, can I heal you? Or it's a bit more like friendly. It's not this big showy look at me thing, and it's not something that you're just like, you just do to someone without talking to them first. And I feel like a lot of people are just like, let me just touch this person's wheelchair and push them up this ramp, and I'll be a good person. Let me not ask them. Let me not talk to them like a human. It's like if I came behind someone who was older, walking up a ramp, and they were going a bit slow, if I just picked them up and started carrying them without talking to them first and put them at the top, of like, you're welcome, and then I just started thinking I was, you know...
Yeah, I was on vacation with my brother, with my parents in Florida, and someone did that to me. They just started pushing me down. It was in a park. And we were looking at, like, sand. It was in Florida, so we were looking at sand sculptures of, like, Christmas stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was raining, but it was, like, spurts of rain. So we were just going back and forth between looking at them and going under the canopies. Mm-hmm. And there was a random person, and I saw everybody I knew in front of me. And a random person started pushing, and I was like, who is it? I spun my head around it, ready about to pop him in the face. Because of, like, it was... natural reflex to be ready to hit them.
Yeah. No, like, after a while being in the chair for so long, like, no one did this, but if someone touched my wheelchair, it's kind of like, I mean, I've heard this said before, like an extension of you. It's really frustrating, because that's like part of you, in a sense. Kind of like when you're going shopping, and if someone just randomly grabbed your cart and started moving it in a direction, it's kind of like that annoyance, because you're touching the cart, you're controlling it. If someone just starts randomly grabbing it without asking you, you get annoyed naturally.
Yep. Yeah, there's tricky parts about being in a wheelchair that, like, socially it's you feel fine, but when someone else does something weird to you, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Stop it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's because they don't know. I think it's now not going to be so bad because of the COVID, but because people are still hesitant. But before COVID, it was really bad. Like, people would come up to you and, oh.
Well, there's a positive of COVID, I guess. People are keeping out of others' personal bubbles.
Yeah, that can be very weird sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are some of the weirdest moments you've had as someone who is disabled, handicapped, whatever term you prefer?
The one was definitely in Florida when I got by the person behind me that just started pushing me. And then there was two at our church, actually. There was two different times. But there was a guy named, I think his name was Dan somebody. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure his full name. But he wanted to pray on, which I understood his. He was very outgoing and wanted to pray for people. And he was like, can I pray this thing away, to go away from you or something? And I was like, no thanks. And he was like, cool. But like a year before that, I had a lady randomly come up to me and start laying hands on me, and I wasn't even in a wheelchair yet. Like, and I was like, this is kind of awkward. And I was only maybe 12?
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't say anything. I should have said something right then and there. But as she was praying, I was like hinting to people, hey, this person's kind of being weird. And they're like, oh. And I was like, yeah, you guys didn't do anything. So, yeah, it was kind of the weirdest part.
Why, for the first guy, Dan, or whatever, the first guy who wanted to pray for you, why did you say no?
It was because I explained to him, like, what God is doing through this, like, what he wants me to do, is what I think he wants me to do, I'm 99% sure of it, is of showing people how handicapped isn't that bad. I mean, it's not something you want someone else to have, but it's not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants me to show people, like, you have this disability, but you're not looking down upon it like, this is horrible, this is the worst thing in the world. I explained that to him, and he was like, oh, I didn't look at it that way before. And I was like, yeah. It's
a really cool way to look at it. Have you always had that attitude, or is that...
No.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not. How long did it take you to get to that place where you're like, this is a good thing?
Coming to know God. Like, at the beginning of that, I was like, really? This is horrible. I'm in a wheelchair, I'm disabled and horrible. And I was like, wait a minute. This is great. I can use this to show other people things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's really cool. So what would you want, what are like the three big things that you would want to show people to others? Like, to be like, what would you want to do for people who are handicapped or people who are not handicapped through this?
What I'm trying to get across to a lot of people is that even though we're handicapped, we don't want you to look at us as a handicapped person being there. We want you to treat us as a normal person.
All right. Who just happens to have a handicap.
Yeah.
Like someone with blonde hair versus red hair. It's just it's just another characteristic of us, but it's not in any way defining.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. I don't think that will happen. I think you can change people to act like that some, but unless you have a lot of experience with someone who's handicapped, it's still such a novel thing where that's the biggest thing they're going to notice, and that's how they're going to define you. Just by like initial, instincts, because people love to put things in categories and boxes immediately. Like if you see someone driving and they're just being a jerk, they're honking at everyone, you're just going to think they're rude based off that immediately. Or if they have a certain political affiliation or they have a certain bumper sticker, you're going to make this judgment call about them immediately.
Yep.
And I think the same thing is kind of true when someone sees someone who is handicapped, they just kind of, unintentionally, and they don't mean to do this, I think, but a lot of people just kind of like associate them so much with their handicap off the bat that it takes a while for them to kind of disassociate the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really cool that you're trying to do that for, God's kingdom. Just like that.
I also made it. I changed the name of it because I wanted to also do more open topics, so like anything.
Change the name of what?
Change the name of my podcast.
Ah.
So it's more open topics, so I can have my wheelchair, like that can be part of it. But I also want to be able to bring out like other points of views of other things.
Yeah.
Not just be handicap, disability stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So what other things have you been wanting to talk about on the podcast? What are some of the cool things that you're excited to go through?
Like, not just wheelchair social experiments, but like general social experiments, like
Yeah.
how people are treating other people even if they're not handicapped, or what's the newest trend. So have you heard of Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
I want to go sort of like his is,
Mhm.
but have like a baseline of being handicapped stuff. Like if something handicapped came up that was new or something, I would put it on my podcast.
All right. Yeah, that'd be really cool. My friend was telling me recently how he's at university, and they were working to make a prosthetic arm for someone who lost the arm from the elbow and below from some accident. I can't remember what, some electrical accident. But they do these at university, and they make it custom fit to work for these certain people. And these are like people they kind of like are, the professors happen to know, or someone they know who just like works at the school or works around the school who is handicapped. And he got really frustrated recently because after they finished the prototype, they weren't actually able to give it to the person. They became kind of school property. And he was getting really upset that the whole project to make this for this person, it just became a school project. They have the material, they have the prosthetic, the design of it, and they just kind of put it away. And then it's really, from what he was telling me, just tucked away and not used again. So I remember he was getting really upset about that.
Yeah.
So how has it been? Has it been different with coronavirus being disabled? Has that been a big change? Do you think there's a lot of different kind of issues facing the community right now, or is it just kind of like whatever, not that big of a deal?
Well, for me, it's not that big a deal, but for other handicapped people that might not just be handicapped, they might have a sickness. That's more of an issue because they might have a health issue that's like a medical issue, and then they have their disability on top of that, and maybe their disability makes it harder for them to heal in general, and then having COVID and being sick from another disease, that's going to bring it down even lower, so their survivability is going to be
lower,
very low.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think it's going to affect me, but for other people, it might be affecting them a lot more. So.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, just from what we did today, I mean, we were wearing the masks and all of that, and I mean, our hands aren't really touching anything besides.
No. The problem is the wheels touch the ground and your hand rubs the wheel.
That's true.
Actually, I think it's like 3 seconds on normal materials, but like cloth and other stuff, it might be a little bit longer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but if you wash your hands,
yeah,
you're good.
You'll be fine.
And if you're healthy, you don't have a problem usually.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying healthy people don't get it, but you're less likely to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, at least that's what I've heard.
Yeah. So,
and it's also it's changed my podcast a little bit because people are hesitant to go out and do public things.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, really? All right.
Well, you can't blame people. Some people, they got kids at home, which, whatever about that. But, they might have a relative who has, a disease, or they might be sick or not well, and they're just trying to protect them. So it's a hodgepodge. It's tough to tell, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you start up the wheelchair challenge in the first place? Like, what made you initially want to do this?
I liked audio stuff, and I learned how to make... I was looking at just doing a podcast in general, and there was like, all this hard loops you had to go through, and I was like, I want to look up a way to do it easily and just have a podcast for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And I found a program called Anchor, which is my host. It hosts the program after I make it. So I make it with my programs on my computer, and then I host it on Anchor, and then it goes through all the other ones.
All right.
So it made it super easy. And I was like, well, I have a niche of things I do being handicapped that having this would be interesting. So I was like, let's make a podcast.
Oh.
So.
Very cool. So it seemed, I mean, we were in a mall and it was all one level, so we didn't have to deal with stairs, broken elevators, escalators, anything like that. What are some of the most difficult places to go to when in a wheelchair? Like, what are the places you're like, I gotta go here and deal with that?
Old buildings that have been retrofitted with elevators in different spots of the building. Because
you knew that right away.
because if you have, say, one half is elevators over here and it goes like 2 levels,
Yeah.
but you gotta go all the way to the basement, which is like 4 or 5 levels down. You gotta go find the next elevator that goes down. Because it's not always a straight shot down to the next bottom level. Because the old ones, they don't have necessarily a way to go straight down, because there might be a support beam that they can't take down at all. So they have to find a way around it. So they put one elevator here, it goes from the top level to the next level, and then that level down over here. So you gotta find one elevator and then the next elevator. Some places, they're marked good, like the next elevator's over this direction. Like they'll say an arrow, the next elevator's this way. Some of them don't have markings at all, and it's like, where do I find this?
Yeah, that'd be pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, at least at our church and most buildings, those elevators, for some reason, like I grew up in New York City. I mean, I could go from the 40th floor to the first floor in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It would take 30 seconds just to get from the first floor to the second floor for most of these elevators for some reason. Have you ever got anyone like annoyed with you going to the elevator as a handicapped person?
Nope.
Really?
No.
That's surprising. You probably haven't been to New York City a lot because space is valuable, and I've seen people, like I come in with like a box or a backpack on and I get looks for taking up the extra space.
Well, if people give me looks like that in general, I'll just scowl back at them.
That's true. You do have the high ground, metaphorically speaking.
Yep.
Have you? I was disappointed. We had like the handicap parking pass or whatever it is. You hang on the rear view mirror, and the handicap spots were taken. And I was really excited to use that because I haven't gotten to use that yet before. Have you ever had the chance to just scold someone who parked in the handicap spot who wasn't handicapped?
Actually, no, but we have the buffer space between the handicap spots. That is a disabled, so someone can get out that's in a wheelchair, like in a van.
Yeah, they have like those.
They can get out in that buffer area.
Yeah.
But I've seen people park on them.
See, that's too bad. I feel like that has to be one of the most gratifying experiences to get up to someone. Because I've seen people who park in the handicap spots, and they walk back to their car, not a care in the world. Like, if they were handicapped,
I've seen vehicles without the tags on them.
Yeah, like, they didn't deserve the sticker because they walked in, grabbed what they needed, and walked back out. I mean, maybe that's a judgment. Maybe they had something on, but I mean, like, they don't deserve the sticker from at least,
well,
first glance.
Physical, and they're wearing shorts and they're a t-shirt and just running back and forth from the store to the car.
Yeah.
They should be kicked out of there. They should just have the car towed if they do that again.
Yeah. But I feel like if I was in a wheelchair and I was ready and I saw them, it'd just be such a cathartic moment to be park my wheelchair right in front of their front door and just have the biggest scowl right in front of them when they walk back to their car. I just feel like that'd be the most fun thing to do.
Or what I would do for fun, instead of doing that, is take a balloon and fill it up with air, tape it to the back tire, so when they roll backwards, it helps the tire pop. So it serves you right.
That would scare them.
So.
So have you been in the wheelchair all your life then, or?
Not this wheelchair. I've been in and out of a wheelchair for. I was 3 when I first got my first wheelchair. It was tiny little wheelchair.
Yeah, wheelchair when you were 3 years old.
2 or maybe 3 or 4, somewhere around that. It was before I moved to our house we're in now.
I'd have to see. You'd have to show me a picture of that. I've never seen anyone younger than a teenager in a wheelchair before. So
then I was on a walker, and then I hurt myself again, and I was on a wheelchair.
That?
I was goofing around with my brothers, and I slammed into a couch. So you know how you take a blanket and you slide around, and you go through the house sliding on the
Yeah, I did that as a kid too.
Well, I was sliding too fast, and I just slid into the corner of the couch, and I heard a pop, and I couldn't move my leg, and I was like, "Ow!"
Ooh.
So that whole day, it was Christmas week. It was Christmas. Something we had for Christmas happening that day or that Saturday or the next day after that, somewhere around that time, I couldn't move at all. I was like, I'm in so much pain, I can't move.
Ouch.
And then that's what initially started the pain in my leg, but I always had problems walking. Like, I was stumbling everywhere.
Yeah.
And then this other leg started hurting because of compensation. It would just, like, hurt because I was using this leg more, and it would just hurt more.
Yeah.
So.
Did you prefer kind of having, like, the walker or all that stuff, or did you prefer being in the wheelchair?
I like walking around, but it's going to make it easier to use a wheelchair.
Yeah. Now, I will say, like, I didn't feel as exhausted using the wheelchair
You can go a lot
today.
further. You can go a lot further in a wheelchair than you can just walking.
Yeah, it is nice always having a seat available. And, I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of fatigue. You get, like a muscle fatigue in your arms from using the wheelchair. So it is different. So I probably couldn't go as long as I could just walking around. But, I mean, it was nice.
Yeah. There's one thing you haven't tried yet, which I might make people try, is going to a concert in a wheelchair.
Going to a concert in a wheelchair.
Because that's the best. You can get always to the front. Just like, excuse me, and they're like, oh, you're a handicapped guy. Up to the front.
Do you ever go to amusement parks and just go right to the front of the line?
Those parks, no, I haven't done them.
Really?
I mean, I've done small ones, but not like big things.
So you've never been to an amusement park?
Not like small carnivals, but not like the actual like Six Flags and places. No.
Yeah, so I would count that as not going to an amusement park because like an actual roller coaster that goes upside down, something like that. Never been on one?
Nope.
You see, you're missing out on one of the biggest benefits. That's like the coup de grace. You get to go to these places and just skip the lines all the time.
Well, I can skip lines in the airport.
I guess that's good. That is good. You get to board first. That's nice.
But you can't. You gotta get boarded. You gotta get off last, which is annoying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually I never realized that you had to get off last. I never noticed that.
Because they have to use the staff to get you off usually.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you not take the wheelchair onto the?
Depending on which wheelchair it is. Mine I might be able to because it's a narrow wheelchair, the one that you were using.
Oh yeah.
But the big one I couldn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those couldn't fit down the aisle.
No. Or they have a transfer chair that they carry you on. And you have to go through a special training. Well, they have a special training for the flight attendants, or if they crash, you get stuck in a bag thing,
What?
and 4 people carry you. It's like
like a tarp?
Yeah, like a tarp thing that they carry you on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize
Like,
they were
they'll
training
grab
that.
staff people and random people that are okay, and be like, grab a side.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be easier if you got someone who's strong enough just to carry the person out.
Yeah, but if it's in the water,
Oh,
or...
I guess a tarp. Yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you just put them onto the life raft?
Yeah, but to transfer them onto the life raft, like...
You need the tarp.
Well, there is some heavy people on the airplanes.
That's true. I'm assuming you right now, you're like 120
Or...
110.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not assuming someone who's like, 250, 300 plus in a wheelchair. That's a different story. You're right. That you would need. Then you would need a tarp.
Yeah. And it's a special tarp with straps to hold onto.
But I guess so. I never even thought about that. What happens in an emergency situation if you're handicapped?
Yeah.
So I keep switching my terms. So what is the PC preferred term? Is there like one term that everyone's like, yeah, I like that term, handicap?
Well, in
disabled,
general,
or
I think the term is person with a disability.
person with a disability.
They don't like being handicapped. They don't like that name, or disabled person. I think they just like a person with a disability.
What's the difference between disabled person and person with disability?
I don't think there is a difference. I just think it's like saying person with. It's like saying it's just saying you're a different race. It's like saying that, but in being a disabled person, it kind of just feels more like you're being drawn down by someone saying a person that's handicapped. Feels more like, that's my opinion. People might say it's more like when people say you're a person with a disability or handicap, in the general terms. It feels like someone's just going like, oh, he's handicapped. It's demeaning, or whatever you call it.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you say it's a person with a disability, or a person with... Yeah, person with a disability is better than handicapped guy, or...
Alright. Person with a disability. Does it matter what the disability is? Is that like the term for everyone, or some people like... Do people with wheelchairs prefer a certain term, and then people who have like missing limbs prefer another one, or something?
I don't know.
No.
I haven't asked anybody that had missing limbs or anything.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't like care. I'm like, it's what people call me. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm never really going to call you disabled or handicapped unless I'm just like describing like, oh, like, yeah, Caleb, he's the guy in the wheelchair. I don't really would ever call you handicapped because there's no real reason in a conversation to be like, yeah, you're handicapped.
Yeah.
It comes up so rarely. But, and so what have been the experiences of other people who've done these kind of challenges? Have they kind of been like, didn't realize how hard it was? Or have they been like, oh, it's kind of like I don't know. I just had kind
They
of
had more
fun.
empathy towards me since
Yeah.
I was like showing them, hey, this is what it's like to be in a wheelchair, and they're like, oh, I understand what troubles you go through now. And there is a kid. I want to try doing this with like Maryland townspeople, like Maryland government people. I want to take them and stick them in a wheelchair and say, try going through your town in a wheelchair. See what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Because there's some buildings around here that are not made for handicapped people to get through at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, going through the mall was really easy because it's like smooth floors, all flat, and you can just glide.
Yeah.
But we went out the wrong exit of the mall, and we were going back to our car on the other side of the parking lot, and then going over like the pavement with the cracks and the ramps and the hills. That was when I was like, okay, now I'm getting like, because in the mall it was like very easy, and I preferred it almost to walking outside. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is really frustrating because this is just a silly little like bump in the road. This is just like a quick little ramp. I didn't realize how much energy and exertion it takes to actually just get through that with the wheelchair.
Or, I haven't tried this all the way yet, but I should have actually tried it when you were there. But it was hopping curbs. Hopping down the curb.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I could have done it, but I wasn't sure, like, on that chair how the balance was. 'Cause I haven't done it in that chair in a while.
Yeah.
But there is ways to just fly down it and just pop off the curb
Yeah?
and land on all four wheels.
Huh.
You just gotta slightly land on your back wheel, then drop your front wheels down.
Yeah, so when I went off the curb, I was just very hopeful. Almost.
Yeah.
Very hopeful that it was going to work. Because I thought, you know what, if I fall forward, it'll be funny for the podcast. But I didn't fall forward. I just landed on those two front wheels, and then I was fine. But, yeah, that was like a small curb. If it was something a bit more substantial...
Yeah, you would have looked down on your face.
Yeah, I would have been so bold. Or lucky, however you want to see it.
Yeah. When I turned 21 originally, when I went out for my drinks on my birthday, I was kind of tired and not really into. I was like kind of out of it. I wanted to go to sleep, and my sister was like, "Okay, I'll push you." She drops me on the curb. I was like, "Really?" It was just like, "Oops." So I was like, yeah, you dumped me out on the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out to eat while we were doing the wheelchair challenge, and we were stealing the wheelchairs and everything like that. It was it didn't seem like it was just little things that are like it's just an added level of difficulty, like getting the door open because the handicap buttons
Didn't work.
Yeah, they weren't working. Only like one of them worked when we actually did it.
Yeah, that was the one going out or going in.
Yeah, the one going in, and the one going out took a minute. Like, we were already past the first door and going through the second when it started working.
Well, I pushed the second one in the inside.
Oh, you pushed the second one? Oh,
Okay.
so...
Yeah,
there
so
we
that
go.
one didn't work. The one in the original building didn't
Yeah.
function at all.
So most of the stuff, for us at least, wasn't working.
Yep.
Yeah, but... Yeah, always... I don't know if I have more empathy. I guess it's about the same. I guess I just have a bit more understanding of, like, the difficulties of it, because... I always guess understood that, like, yeah, that stinks. That's gotta be frustrating. And then, like, going through a few of those things is like, oh yeah, this is definitely the frustrating bits. Because, like, going through the mall was fine, honestly, but, like, genuinely going outside and doing that outside part was just like, I can't go for walks. I mean, you really have to think ahead, like, where you're going, because going down a street can be a lot more difficult when it's not paved right. The curb, there's no, like, ramp to go off the curb. The curve's really steep, and, I have, like, I had the confidence of knowing, like, oh, if I get to something I can't go over, I can just pick up the wheelchair and put it down. Like, I have a fail-safe. If not, then I'm like, well, I gotta go all the way around now.
Yep. The one thing is, at the store, when you were at the store, the lady accounted for you being in a wheelchair and brought everything to you.
Yeah, that was nice. I gotta say, it was good service. Yeah.
Like, some stores, if they can't let you in or they don't have a good way for you to get in, they'll sometimes bring the product or the cards and stuff to you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go in.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Do you find people being, like, extra nice to you just because you're in the wheelchair or because you're in the wheelchair? Or do you not? Well, I guess.
Well, I see that they're like, oh, it's a guy I'm trying to make money off this guy. I gotta find a way to get him the product.
Yeah, that could be the thought process behind all of that.
Yeah. But the waiter was like, oh, you want to move 2 chairs? And it was great because you just pulled the chair out of the way and rolled in. At the restaurant. You just didn't have to hop out.
Yeah, that was nice of her. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Definitely thank you for letting me kind of do that with you, because definitely give me a new kind of understanding of kind of what you and other people kind of go through on a daily basis.
Thank you for listening to Life Beyond Wheels podcast.